Prior to the season, a lot of analysts, myself included, had sold the upcoming season as a breakout year for Anthony Richardson. It made sense. All the ingredients were there. He's physically gifted, he had an offseason to work, he has a head coach that already worked miracles with Jalen Hurts, and he had what we thought was a really good supporting cast. But, safe to say that didn't happen. However, I don't think it's over. There's something here, man. I can't tell you why, I can't give up on it. This is the beginning of a series I'm calling An Honest Conversation. The goal with this series is to take players that I either really like, really want to like, or polarizing players in the league, and really attacking their evaluation as unbiased as possible. The goal here is to find out if they're good, if they're not, what they are good at, what they need to work on. This one's gonna be tough because I had very, very strong feelings about AR in the pre-draft process, and I do not want to be wrong about them. Enough stalling. Let's get into it. Let's start with what I like about AR because it's the easiest to discuss for me. The physical tools have translated. There's no doubt about that. His arm strength is ridiculous. There's not a throw on the field he can't make. There's not a hole he can't hit. He's still ridiculously athletic. He's insanely quick. He's insanely hard to tackle in open space. He's insanely hard to bring down in general. He doesn't take a lot of sacks, and I don't think it's because he has a great sense of pressure. He definitely has a good one. It's not amazing, but he knows when to run, he knows when to stand there and make throws, but he's just incredibly hard to sack. There's so many times throughout the season that I felt like I could skip the play because the defense had him dead to rights. They got to him way too quickly. There's two guys on him trying to bring him down, and miraculously he comes out and ends up making something out of it. He doesn't abuse it, which I think is awesome. He definitely wants to be a traditional drop-down passer. He's always looking to make plays downfield. That's something I look for a lot in young quarterbacks, and he passes that test. I vividly remember tweaking out in September when he made this throw to start the season. I made a TikTok I didn't end up posting. I was victory lapping in group chats, made a few tweets about it. It's plays like this that keep me coming back. There is a handful of quarterbacks on earth who can make this throw, and he just happens to be one of them. My relationship with AR is very much a toxic one. I know he's not that great yet. I know he hasn't put it all together, but every now and then he shows you something on tape where he does put it all together, and it's glorious. It makes you see exactly just how beautiful his game can become. It's really those explosive plays that separated the Colts from so many at the start of the season. They were consistently at the top of explosive play rates, and it was in large part, if not mainly, due to the fact that AR was finding the opportunity to hit these deep shots and hitting them fairly consistently. In a season where, especially at the start, so many teams were failing to hit the big one, the Colts had figured it out, and it was because of their quarterback. The problem with these circus throws is he is not good at them consistently enough to attempt them as much as he does. There's so many times during the season where if he just slows down or stops to set his feet, the Colts would have had another explosive play. But because he rushes himself a little bit, because his mechanics when throwing on the run aren't that great, he misses a little too deep or throws it a little too shallow. However, when he sets his feet and he keeps a strong base and he points to where he's supposed to throw, his deep ball is gorgeous. It's unmatched by most of the league. But more frequently than I would like, he speeds himself up, he releases off of his back foot, which he is terrible at, and he leaves some big plays on the field. His footwork is extremely inconsistent. It's probably the biggest area that he needs improvement in. A lot of the tiny accuracy issues he has would be fixed with a few tweaks, especially on like some of the quick routes that he completely sails sometimes, that some of them are comical. He leaves his feet quite a bit. He shuffles a lot, especially when he hesitates. It kind of ends up speeding up his process a little more. Like I said, when he throws on the run, his feet don't exactly point to where he wants to throw. I think a lot of times he attempts these thinking that he's Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, like he's heard the comparisons and he thinks he's already on that level, when he's just not. He doesn't really need to be attempting these kind of throws as often as he does. But when it clicks, dude, it clicks, and it's fucking amazing. Let's get back to that freak arm strength, because boy, is it a blessing and a curse. More often than it should be happening, a receiver will drop a little hitch route or a short crossing route because he's throwing these 5-yard stop routes 100 miles an hour. He needs to develop his pitch selection. He needs to add a little more clubs to his bag. The heater is awesome and it works well, and when it does work, it's beautiful. However, it's not going to be as effective if he doesn't have a curveball, if he doesn't have a changeup, if he doesn't have a cutter. This feels like an easy fix, something that will probably fix itself over time. It definitely happens less as you go throughout the season, which is nice. I also think that his teammates, especially his offensive linemen, really like him. He's ready to run through a wall for his teammates. You can tell just by the way he runs. As a coach, you probably hate to see him try to run over defensive backs or even linebackers sometimes, but as a teammate, you love to see that. It shows that he's more than just a quarterback, he's a football player. And I feel like I can tell that he's coachable. Obviously, I'm not in the building, so I don't actually know, but a lot of his little improvements over the course of the season show that. Even in game, he's shown that he can take coaching from Steichen and learn from his mistakes. Here's an example from the Jets game. Earlier in the quarter, the Jets ran cover 2. They ran a perfect play for it, they sent Pierce up the boundary, tried to get AR to hit the whole shot, but he misses it and hits Mo Alley Cox across the field and gets broken up. I'm pretty sure I saw a report that Steichen mentioned it to him. Later in the game, they get the exact same look on a game-winning drive. AR doesn't miss it, connects with Pierce up the hole, actually pump fake Sauce to draw him down and make the hole even bigger, and ends up setting what would be the game-winning drive. He's really bad over the middle of the field. It's not good. I can't sugarcoat it. He's so ridiculously inconsistent, man. It's frustrating because with his arm strength, he can hit any throw on the field. There's so many times where he's opposite hash, hitting a hitch route in a triangle of defenders. It's absurd. And these digs and these curl routes can be huge for this offense if he could hit them with any sort of consistency in his accuracy and timing. A lot of his mechanics, like I mentioned, he throws with the side of his body a little too much. Again, he shuffles his feet a lot when he hesitates and ends up rushing him a little bit, forcing some of these throws to miss, especially short. The good thing is, though, he sees them. Never once while watching his tape did I really question whether or not he understands these concepts and gets when they're supposed to be open. I really think he can be a traditional drop back passer at the highest level. He's just a little reckless with his arm. He's pretty good at reading leverage. He understands when his receiver is going to have a step. He has pretty good anticipation of the holes to throw to. Sometimes I think he's so confident in his arm strength that he throws it to where the receiver is, not where the receiver is going to be. But a lot of young quarterbacks struggle understanding these concepts, and I've never had that worry with Anthony. He just misses them sometimes. He rarely misses in front. He almost never misses too high or too low when these digs or crossers. He always misses behind him. It's like he thinks the ball is going to teleport to his receiver. He trusts his arm a little too much on some of these throws. If he could learn to anticipate where the receiver is going to be on these in-breakers in the middle of the field, the Colts would have a top 5 offense. I'm sure of that. I don't have any doubts. They already hardly have issues hitting deep shots, but if he starts to hit on the easy stuff, he gets some of those safeties to bite down on some of these throws now that they have to worry about the middle of the field as well as some of the deep posts. The deep posts are going to open up even more than they already have. And then you pair that up with the rushing duo that is Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson, you're basically looking at this year's Ravens at their highest peak. I'll reiterate it. I don't think he can't do it. He definitely can, and he has. He just has to learn to do it consistently. He's not a one-read quarterback either. I feel like that's a giant misconception, and it's literally just because people said he was unpolished as a quarterback coming out. He goes through his progressions well. However, sometimes I think he gets stuck downfield too much. He's looking for the deep play. He's looking for the crosser over the middle of the field, when sometimes he just needs to abandon it and go to his check down. He's rarely making boneheaded mistakes. When these drives stall, it's because he's missing his receivers, not because he's being stupid. I also think Shane Steichen doesn't do nearly enough to help him out. The Colts don't run RPOs nearly enough for my liking. They don't run play action nearly enough for my liking. They're middle of the pack in RPO rate with a great running back and a freak athlete at quarterback. That should be a crime. And it's not like he's bad at them. Some of their best drives, some of their most efficient drives are because he's kicking them off with RPOs, getting them in rhythm. It's even dumber when you consider that's exactly how Jalen Hurts break out. That offense ran RPOs in an obnoxious amount, and they still do. And they have one of the better offenses in the league because Jalen is so good at executing them, and it opens up some of these downfield shots to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I understand wanting to develop AR's prowess in the traditional drop-back passing game, and I certainly think he has more potential in that regard than Jalen Hurts does, but I don't think it's a crime to help him out and make his life easier. It would only open the offense up more and make these crossers and digs easier to hit. The only reason I can give for why they don't is because they're worried about stunting his growth, which is stupid. If I had to describe what the theme for AR should be going into this offseason in one word, it would be consistency. Consistency with your accuracy, consistency with your timing, consistency with your decision making. Consistency is a really difficult word to say multiple times in a row. I need him in the field every day, working on those inbreakers, working on crossers, working on when to fire that ball in and when to take some off of it. I see way too many fans, even Colts fans, ready to move off of AR. Let me emphasize this, and look me in my eyes when I say this. it would be ridiculously irresponsible to do so. He has not played nearly enough games for as many people to be out on him. He hasn't played as many games as Jalen Hurts did when he broke out. He hasn't played as many games as Josh Allen when he broke out. Hell, he hasn't even played as many games as Bryce Young. And look how good Bryce Young looks right now. There is way too much here to like for me to want to give up on him, for you to want to give up on him. He hasn't even played a full season yet. He's played 15 games. There is nothing in sports that frustrates me more than people who are impatient, especially with young players and especially for quarterbacks. However, I need to see improvement, and I need to see a lot of it. There's no denying that AR has a long way to go. I just don't think that he can go that long way over the course of a season. So yeah, those are my as unbiased as possible thoughts on Anthony Richardson. I was really trying hard while watching the over 500 plays that I had to watch, trying not to let my own stubbornness or ego or want to be right peer into this. I still think he can be a great player. Like, I still think the potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league is there. He just needs a little more time to untap it. He's only played 15 games, like I said. There's something here, man. And if there's a player that you want to see me do this on, maybe it's your favorite player. Maybe it's a player you feel is polarizing. Maybe it's a player you feel is underrated, overrated. Feel free to comment them. I think I want to do this like 5 or 6 more times during the off season. It takes a lot of time, so I don't want to do it that much. But I do enjoy watching the film for these players. So if there's something that you want to see, please feel free to comment. But yeah, if you made it this long in the video, thank you so much for watching. You're the best. If you really enjoyed, consider leaving a like, subscribe, click this video up here. If I'm smart enough, I'll link it. Follow my TikTok and Twitter link below. Again, thank you guys so much.